College baseball season's almost here, so it's time for preseason Power 10 rankings. Preseason rankings are not easy. We obviously won't find out just how good these teams are till we see them in action, but let's just give it a go. Texas A&M, probably the only sure thing at number one in this ranking. This team made it to the MCWS finals while pretty banged up and brings back almost their entire lineup with very few weaknesses. Jace Laviolette leads one of the nation's premier offenses with power hitters top to bottom, and Ryan Prager returns as the ace and one of the best arms in the country. After one, though, this is where you could argue pretty much anything. But I've got Virginia at 2. I think this team brings back a lot of seasoned hitters: Jacob Ferentz, Henry Godbout, Harrison Didowick, and Henry Ford, plus a pitching staff with experience at the MCWS. LSU is up at 3 with a whole new look this year. Jared Jones will lead a deep lineup after smashing 28 homers last season. Stephen Milam, big-time name to know after a stellar freshman year, and they add a lot of transfers and newcomers that will likely make immediate impacts. Tennessee at 4 won the national title and will likely just reload this year, even with the loss of guys like Christian Moore, Billy Amick, and Drew Beam. Got some big transfers like Andrew Fisher and Gavin Keelan to join guys like Dean Curley and Hunter Ensley, plus Liam Doyle, a great addition to the pitching staff. At 5, Arkansas could have one of the best weekend rotations in the country with the addition of Zach Root with sophomore right-hander Gabe Geckel. After 5, it gets even more difficult. I have Oregon State up at 6 with some key transfers like Iva Arquette to join guys like Gavin Turley and Trent Caraway. North Carolina checks in at 7. This team is highlighted by the star power of Luke Stevenson behind the dish and Jason DeCaro on the mound. A lot of guys with MCWS experience and what looks to be a balanced lineup with the new additions. FSU at 8 as they bring back Jamie Arnold, one of the best pitchers in the country. Under 3 ERA last season with Omaha experience. Got some big bats in production to replace from last year, but should be a strong defensive team right out of the gates. It's really hard to replace a player like Charlie Condon or Corey Collins for that matter, but Georgia has reloaded this season. Trey Phelps is back after a breakout freshman year. They got big-time transfers like Devin Obie, Nolan McCarthy, Robbie Barnett, and more to make up for power in the lineup, and they should have a pretty good pitching staff. And finally, at 10, I went with the Gators, who return MCWS experienced players like Colby Shelton, Brody Donay, Ty Evans. Again, hard to make up for a player like Jack Caglione, but Florida's got a lot of pieces. My first team out was Clemson. Again, preseason rankings nearly impossible to order, so would love to hear all of your takes in the comments.